Welcome to the Grip Kings Arm Wrestling channel. My name is Owen, and today we are joined by a Canadian heavyweight representing the Ottawa High Hookers with no limits running through his veins. A man with many weapons in his arm wrestling arsenal, known for drinking the most disgusting protein shakes the world has ever seen. And now making his East versus West debut. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Auden Larratt. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me on, brother. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to finally talk to you guys. I know you brought me up for a while. My Instagram was a mess, but I'm happy to be on.
Yeah, it's been some time, but you're a busy guy, so that's all right. You took the time, so that's awesome. Okay, diving immediately into it. Starting off, right? The Larratt name is a big name. The most people that start into arm wrestling, they know it. But what maybe not many people know is what it was really like growing up into that household. Like everybody is arm wrestling there. Why? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's hard for me to envision a life without arm wrestling. It really is. It's just something that's been so part of everything I've ever done. Like you're saying, it's part of the household as I grew up. So for me, it holds a very special place in my life. Many people they have things to do with their families that they remember. There's games they play and there's places they go. For me, that thing is arm wrestling. So it's a very special thing in my life.
And was that consistent, like from the time you were born? I mean, your father probably and your mother imagines, like, okay, as soon as he's gonna turn 8 or 10, maybe when you were little as a baby, they're already trying to arm wrestle a little bit. Has that stayed throughout your whole life, or like when that start a little bit for you?
I mean, it's always been a thing. I think I pulled my first tournament when I was like 1 or 2 years old. So I've always been in the sport. But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
got real serious later in life. Like there was never really a time before I was 17 that I was like, I'm gonna be an arm wrestler full time. This is what I'm gonna do.
Hmm.
It would be like, yeah, I like arm wrestling. I'll train for arm wrestling here and there. Like it's never
Hmm.
all the way in.
Never all the way in. And how did your friends react? I mean, your guys' living room is like 50% arm wrestling stuff. It's not a generic like a generic home when you go in there. It's like, what the heck is going on here? How did
Yeah,
your friends and stuff? How did?
yeah. They've all been cool with it. Like I don't think any of them. I mean, they've known me. They've always just known me like this. I think so. It was never
Oh
really a
yeah,
shock
yeah.
to them. So I think it's kind of fun because like all my friends, probably the baseline level of arm wrestling in my friend group is just a bit higher than the average like athletic friend group because they've just been around
I
me.
see.
They've arm wrestled a little bit here and there. They've done a little bit of training, but everybody that I've ever met always thinks arm wrestling cool, pretty cool.
Yeah, all right. And I mean, I've wondered and pondered for this a bit because I've heard the Levon story, like that your grandmother,
Hmm.
grand grandmother or mother's name was Levon, but I'm curious, like how deep does the arm wrestling go into the lineage? Like where did that start? Is it what was it with your great grandmother, or does it go deeper? Are there nieces and nephews? Like I have no clue. I couldn't find it.
Yeah. As far as I know, it's just my great grandma, and then I guess some people in her family kind of arm wrestled like after her and like when she was around, and then it kind of skipped a generation. My dad did it, and then I guess me now. But no, as far as I know, there isn't some like great lineage of arm wrestlers. It's just kind of my great grandma and then my dad and myself.
So that's the start. I mean, well, you still have your brother and your sister also
Yeah.
quite competitive arm wrestlers as well, right?
Yeah, and my mom as well when she was still
Yeah,
training.
your mom as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think did she participate in WAL sometime? Or was it like a sort of
North American champion.
damn? Yeah, not to be messed with. Not to be messed with.
Wow, not
I saw
bad.
you actually when we were in Germany. I saw your mother also doing the grip game with the I forget the guy's name. I think you also faced him at the arm wrestling table for a
Leroy
bit.
Walker.
And yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, that was looking tough though, not gonna lie.
She's
It was
good.
looking like
She's
a
like
so moving on to the next question, right? I was wondering, for me, like as a arm wrestler that has started in the past couple of years, um, I didn't grow up with arm wrestling in my family, but I did grow up with sports and stuff. Are there any things that you, in your perspective, made it easier? Right, arm wrestling. Are there any things that made it easier growing up in the arm wrestling family, or are there things that are harder? If you get what I tried to say.
do you mean in life or just for the sport?
Both ways. Both ways. If you have two perspectives
Sure,
on
yeah.
that, maybe.
I think, I mean, the easy thing is obviously I've just been doing arm wrestling longer than most. Like, even if I haven't absolutely trained for it the whole time, it's been on my mind. I've been to practices through all of my formative years, and I probably just have a bit more of a deeper understanding than most people do of the sport because I've been around it so long. So I really understand the
Hmm.
flow of the game better than most people. But, as for I don't think there's any downsides. I mean, I think it's anytime you have sport in your house, it's pretty good. Like, I think, it taught me really young that you can train really hard to be great at something. Because I grew up watching my dad train all the time, just to try and be the world champ, and, I think that instilled a very valuable lesson in me that perseverance what's the line? What's persistence prevails when all else fails. That's the line.
Persistent prevail.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard you say that before. Yeah, you
it's
live
a good
by that, right? Because
I
now
try to, I try
you
to.
are doing this full time. I've heard I watched your podcast with Craig, and there you also mentioned that you're just doing this full time as an arm wrestler right now, and uh, you said it's basically the secret to becoming the best of the world. If you have a job and other responsibilities, it's very difficult to get to that top level of arm wrestling, and you're still very young, so in 20 years, I mean, I can't imagine where you're going to be with all this knowledge and these powers you're developing. So, really looking forward. You have a massive journey ahead, so that's going to be awesome. Um, Diving a little bit deeper into your family bond, because I couldn't really find too much about that online, and I was wondering, usually, when you have an older brother, he's the mountain you're chasing growing up, right? You wrestle with him, he punches you a couple of times, you cry, it's like, stop, don't cry, mom's gonna hear, right? That type of stuff. Um, and it looked like, from my perspective and maybe some other viewers' perspective, that in terms of arm wrestling, it was the same for you and Milo in the beginning a little bit, and then it seems you took it a bit more serious than he did. Maybe it had some other stuff going on, um, but how did that evolve? How did that relationship between you guys evolve over the years?
I think, I would actually kinda invert that timeline. Like, when I started getting serious, he was not at all serious, not even a little bit.
Okay.
Like, he had not been training, he didn't care. He came to practice sometimes, but that's the extent of it. Like, he would very irregularly come to practice. So, when I started getting good, when I started training, I think once I passed him, that almost like, that lit a bit of a spark inside, and since then, he has been training more now. I think he's been training, I would say, and still he's not training perfect yet. He's not really putting the time in.
Hmm.
He's training much better than he ever has, but there still is ways for Milo to go. I mean, he's not solely focused on arm wrestling yet. He has an outside life. He goes and does stuff. He works. He does all this different stuff. He hasn't simplified his left to the extent that I have yet, but he's doing very, very good. And I think really the only thing that like, the thing that really changed in his mind is he sorted a lot of stuff in his life out, and he started to really fall in love with arm wrestling more. And I'm very happy about that.
Hmm.
I think it's been about a year and a half now, maybe 2 years he's doing that.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing him putting on some weight also in the gym, doing some crazy exercises.
Right?
Obviously he's away right now. He's away right now. Maybe when he comes back, I'm not sure if there's like an end date to when he's leaving. But
Sometime in the
we'll be
summer, yeah.
curious to see. Sorry.
Sometime in the summer, he's coming back for a bit, and then I think he's going back out, and then he's going, but
Ooh,
I'm not totally sure, but sometime
summer
in the
break. That's gonna be sick. Summer break brother arm wrestling video. Are we gonna be seeing that on your channel to
Hopefully,
see
probably.
where
Yeah,
you
I'll
guys
have
are at? That'd be awesome. Um, Having a brotherly bond, right? You have a special connection with each other. I've often heard people ask you like, "What's the most important lesson you've learned from your father?" But I'm it's a often asked question. But I'm quite intrigued. Like, what have you learned from that brotherly bond in the arm wrestling scene? Like, what's the most valuable lesson you've taken out of that?
Hmm. Oh, that's a good question. I've never been asked that one before. I don't know, but I have to think about it for a second. I mean, I've
Doing
learned a
my
lot from
job.
Milo. Yeah, that's really good. I've learned a lot from Milo. I grew up, idolizing Milo, like, he's my older brother, I'm always trying to be like him. Think, maybe oh, man, Milo's done a lot of great stuff. He's instilled a lot of great lessons in me through success and through failure, both. And I think, one that I could kinda draw upon is you can work through anything. Milo's had a lot of bad luck in different spots, and he's made it out every time. And he's put in hard work, and he's planned, and he's made it through. So I think just a good lesson would be that, like, no matter your circumstances, no matter what, if you get dealt a bad hand in this spot or this spot, you can fight and you can make it through.
Right. Well, that's solid. That's
I think
as
that's a
solid
pretty.
as a device could be.
Yeah, I've always really admired Milo for that. Like, he's really had some bad
Mm,
luck in different spots, and he's always made it through and gotten better from it. So I'm always impressed by that.
mm. And um, in what sense? Because for most people, it would be quite difficult to see when you're. I'll dive deeper in that later as well. But when you're watching people arm wrestling, it's quite difficult to understand. You can grasp the basics, but it's
Mhm.
quite difficult to understand where a difference between pullers are. Right? Okay, you can say
Yeah.
okay, somebody top roll, somebody's a hooker, but where does that line between you and Milo lie? I know you are a very versatile arm wrestler, but where's that line between you guys? Like, where does he excel at, and where do you?
Milo definitely has one significant piece over me, and that piece is his flop. He has a really good flop.
Hmm.
For some reason, I mean, we always try to shy him away from it, but he kind of fell in love with the flop. And it's really funny because that's kind of the way Milo lives. He dives in head first as hard as he can, and figures out the consequences afterwards. So, yeah, I think, I can't flop like that. But in every other lane, I do
Mm.
feel like I'm slightly ahead.
All right. Um, and if we zoom out of the arm wrestling table, how different are you and Milo outside of arm wrestling? Right. I know a lot of people have like a persona online because you have to trash talk and stuff. But how different are you guys like in personal, like face to face or day to day living when you guys were younger?
I'd say we were quite similar. Like there's a lot of similarities between the
Mm,
2 of us. I mean, we grew up in the same house, similar experiences.
mhm.
Like I like we grew up as best friends, absolutely, in every sense of the word. So I think there's a lot of similarities in how we view the world, how we plan for things, how we operate. There's definitely a bit more wildness in Milo. Milo likes to really jump in, and I like to be a bit more
Mhm,
methodical and plan
mhm.
when I can. So, I mean, who's to say which one's better? Personally, I like to plan, but I can see the appeal of just going for it and then figuring out what's happening afterwards. But, yeah, I'd say we're
That's
quite similar in
hence the
a ways.
yeah. You're quite similar, but in different ways. Yeah. All
Mhm.
right, I get that. Um, so both growing up in that household, right? Maybe you more so than Milo because he's just figuring his stuff out, just like you said, going about what he's doing. Um, the Larratt name, like I said in the beginning, it's a heavy name, right? And there's probably a lot of pride in that, what your family has done for the sport, but perhaps also an urge to prove yourself. Maybe not so much now than you were younger. I don't know how that correlates to each other, but how was that growing up? How was that growing up, having that name, and you think, okay, well, there are big shoes that I potentially have to fill, right?
Mhm.
How was that? How was that?
You know, it only really materialized in the last couple of years because before that, like
Okay.
before COVID, basically nobody even knew who Dad was anyway. Like nobody even knew about arm wrestling. No, if I said arm wrestling, they're like, "That's a sport," and I'd be like, "Yeah, it's a sport." So it's grown a long way, but I think the pressure
Mm,
and the shoes to fill. This is all a good thing. People ask me often about just like how it kind of feels and do I feel like I have to live up? No, but the real answer is I don't feel any real pressure. Like it's only the pressure I put
oh,
on
that's great.
myself. Like, and I feel really lucky to be in the spot. I feel just like I don't have to be exactly like him. I can be, and he can
Exactly.
mentor me to be towards that direction. But I don't
Mm.
have to be anything I don't want to be.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. So, have you ever experienced the feeling that you're just, just his son, or and your mom's son? And at what point, if so, that's changed for you? Like right now, people are seeing me as Auden, its own arm wrestler with his own career, with his own style. Where did that, if it happened, where did that change for you?
I don't think I'll ever fully be free of being Devon Larratt's son, if you want to say that. But I don't think it's
Mhm.
necessarily a bad
Yeah.
thing. Like there's definitely when I was first starting out, I was exclusively Devon Larratt's son, and that was kind of just like what
Exactly,
what I
yeah.
was. But I think as I've progressed and as I've gotten just more time in the sport and in the limelight, people just understand that I am a bit different, that I am my own person. And really,
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like I love my dad. I like to be compared to him. I think he's awesome. So I don't rush to shy away from that label.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, Another thing I found, which I found there are like 2 things. I've seen that you, I mean, you're easy with cameras, like when you get on stage, it just feels very natural to you. Um, I've also seen that you had some sort of acting career. Could you, like, you participated in some movies? I saw the movie The Clown and some other stuff. I couldn't really find the frame. I was looking for you in the videos, but I couldn't really find you there. But how was that experience, like as a kid, getting
It was
into those
great. Yeah,
movies?
if you're looking for it, I would have been a whole lot younger. You wouldn't have recognized me, but I was definitely in it.
Mm.
I had like a shaved head. I was in a ball pit. I was one of the guys, the clowning. It was great. Yeah,
You got
yeah.
eaten by a clown.
I get eaten by the
All
clown. Yeah, I
right.
was in a ball pit throwing these balls, and I hold under really hard. So yeah, it was fun. I think I had like one line, and then yeah, and it was a lot of
And
fun.
then
I
and then
love
you get
playing with
killed
that.
out.
Yeah, it was too bad. It
Sorry?
was very, but yeah, I really enjoyed growing up acting. It was a great creative outlet. It really got me comfortable in front of people to talk, and
Mm,
I often think that that's one of the most valuable skills, being able to socially speak, being able to present, not be afraid of, like, not go up in front of people and just freeze up. I've always thought that's, like, the
like,
worst thing you can do, and a lot of people have problems with it, and I don't know if I would have problems with it or not if I hadn't acted. So I think
I see.
because of being in front of those cameras and, like, getting direction and auditions, it just really it made me realize that they're just people and they're just watching, like, it's not a big deal at all. So I've gotten very comfortable talking to people. I'd say that's the greatest thing that acting's done for me.
And maybe that also has contributed to you being so easygoing in front of the cameras and doing
Yeah.
commentary. It's just very natural looking and easygoing for you. At least you make it seem so.
Well, thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it.
so if you like, what movie that you played in, a role that you have, are you the most fond of? Is that the clown movie, or is some? I mean, that's only like one line, but
Yeah.
like you said yourself. But is there like any other movie that you did that you're like, oh damn, that I really enjoyed that part of acting?
You know, I'd say the last movie I did, I really loved. I'll tell you a bit of story about it. So it was the prequel to the reboot of Pet Cemetery. It was Pet
Oh
Cemetery,
yeah.
like, but Bloodlines. I think it was Bloodlines was original, or was like 1969. I don't remember the title they ended up going with, but I loved it. We shot so much. I was playing the main bad guy in the past, and there was a significant flashback portion of the movie, and I'm like, we're shooting all these awesome scenes. I feel like I'm killing it. Like I'm looking on the screen, they're like playing it back and stuff, and it looks awesome, super cool, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited to come out. I probably have like, I think I had like, oh, more than 10 scenes. Like I was in a lot of the movie. It wasn't just like a flash. I was
All
really in
right.
it. And I go to watch the movie, and I'm in it for 1 second on a picture of the picture, looking at a picture, and I'm like, "Come on." They cut all of the flashback, every single flashback portion of the movie, and it's terrible. And that now I watch the movie, and the movie sucks. So it's like, just leave the flashback part in.
Because you're
Honestly, if they'd left it in, it would've been way better. I feel like there was something missing, and that something was me.
that something was you. Yeah, damn. Oh, that's unfortunate. Like you told your family, your friends, like I'm gonna
Yeah,
be in this movie.
yes, I
Everybody
did,
is
I did.
watching, and like 15 minutes in, like, dude, where you? Are you like lying? Like what's going
No,
on?
no. Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, dang. Oh, so you'll have second thoughts when you're and accepting another movie.
Yeah,
I assume.
I know. In my contract, not allowed to be cut
In
out.
your contract, yeah, at least 10 scenes minimum.
Yeah,
And if you cut me out, you increase my pay or whatever. I don't
exactly.
know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great story, dude. I was really wondering about that. Um, so whilst I was also doing the research, right? I didn't know that you had a middle name because I'm not sure if it's correct, but online it said Auden Larratt.
Correct.
Um, where you've never been introduced as Auden Larratt, as far as I am concerned. Where does the middle name come from? Like, who's that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. I think just my parents picked it, thought it sounded nice. I mean, I think most people have middle names they just don't really use. So that's I'm
Yeah,
one of those people. Yeah, I think it's funny story with that. When I was young, I couldn't pronounce my SHs, so I'd say Auden
I
Larry.
see.
So it's pretty good. Yeah.
I see. I see. I see. I see.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching yet another arm wrestling interview on the Grip Kings channel. If you want to see more of these interviews, subscribe to the channel. And if part 2 is out for this video, you can click here. All right.